Hey guys, I've been using the Colt Hockey Stick for quite a while now and wanted to give you guys an honest, in-depth review on my thoughts. I've been using this stick for about half a year and I wanted to wait a while before making this video because I wanted to be able to test out the durability of this stick, as that is its claim to fame. So let's check it out. So we're looking at the Colt Gen 1 Hockey Stick, and first off I wanted to give you guys a little bit of information on it. For those of you who don't know what all the fuss is about, the Colt 1 Hockey Stick is wrapped in what is called nanovate technology. The nanovate technology produces the nickel cobalt metal, which is 1,000 times smaller than typical metal, which results in a material that is 2.8 times stronger and 20% more flexible than steel. The idea is to give increased durability without sacrificing performance. The nanovate coating protects the carbon fiber from microfractures that commonly contribute to the death of sticks. After undergoing a slash impact test, the Colt is 50% stronger than a conventional carbon fiber stick. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the Colt being unbreakable after Sportsnet released a video entitled the Unbreakable Hockey Stick. It was a really good tactic to get people's attention, but it is far from true. The Colt does break, it's just far harder to break than other high-end hockey sticks. So now let's look at break strength. So for conventional hockey sticks, they max out at about 262 pounds of pressure before the stick breaks, whereas the Colt Hockey Stick can withstand 397 pounds of pressure before it snaps. People get so caught up in the durability factor that they forget another key feature of the nanovate technology, which is that it aids the stick's performance as it pertains to energy storage. The Colt offers more power in the kick zone, meaning that once a shot is released, the result should be a harder shot coming off that stick. So it's clear what Colt is after. They're after increased durability and increased performance. Now let's talk about my experience with the Colt Hockey Stick. So the first thing that I noticed was that the flex value numbers were a little bit off. I talked to them about it and they had noticed the same thing and are taking this issue very seriously and have already begun to correct the analysis technique to better match industry standards. So the average weight of the stick is about 455 to 465 grams. Now the reason for the 10 gram gap is that the manufacturing process has yet to become automated, thus the weight of the Gen 1 hockey stick fluctuates. Each stick actually goes through a manual dip process before the nanoplating process takes place, and the custom nature of the process is the reason for the fluctuation. The weight is also affected by the surface area of the curve pattern selected. So the biggest question I got from you guys is the Gen 1 hockey stick available in a junior size? And unfortunately it is not. It is only available in a senior size. However, the Gen 2 hockey sticks, there's a couple of them, they're available in senior and intermediate lengths. So in terms of the lie on your stick, that's going to depend on the curve pattern selected, which will range from a lie of 5 to a lie of 6. You can view the curve pattern chart on their website. So the biggest question that I had was, can you use it to play ball hockey or street hockey? Now I was just wondering if the nanovate technology would allow players to use the stick on the street without wearing out their blades. So when I asked them this, they said that it definitely does offer a crucial layer of protection to prevent crack propagation along the blade face. However, over time the material will slowly get worn down and chew at the bottom of the blade. So long story short, this isn't a stick that you should drag along rough surfaces and expect it not to wear out. Although with the hack and slash nature of ball hockey, I would definitely recommend this stick instead of a high-end stick, given that it will last longer and be stronger. Although the surfaces for ball hockey are slick, which don't chew at the bottom of the blade nearly as much as a driveway would. A thin layer of tape is always a good idea to put on the bottom of your blade if you are playing ball hockey on those slick surfaces. So after unboxing the stick and looking at it, my first thought was that it was going to be really heavy. I mean, it had that nanovate technology, that metal look to it, which you always associate with heaviness. You just don't use increased durability and light in the same sentence on the topic of hockey sticks. But that being said, I was very impressed by the Colt's weight when I unboxed it, though it was noticeably bottom heavy in the comparison to my AI9 or Bauer APX that I was using at the time. Growing up, I've always used a bit of a heavier stick. I find that a lot of my game revolves around puck protection and the ability to lift sticks of opposing players and steal that puck, so a bit of a heavier stick works for me. So you may find this a little bit heavier than I did at first, but I trust that you'll be able to get used to it. Now, similarly in the NHL, it actually might surprise you to know that Datsuk, with his silky mitts, actually prefers a heavier stick. In an interview Elliot Friedman did with Datsuk, he took a look at Datsuk's sticks and talked about how his teammates couldn't believe how heavy they were. Now, obviously, we all know that Datsuk is a takeaway artist, so he needs to have a heavier stick to help him win those 50-50 stick battles. He also has a canoe for a hockey blade, but that's a whole other topic. In pickup games, I could definitely feel how it helped me in corner battles. Not just the fact that it was a little bit heavier, but the fact that I wasn't afraid to get into those corners. For those of you who spend $200 to $300 on your sticks, you know what I'm talking about. You know sometimes you shy away from those corners because there's always that one guy who will two-hand slash the hell out of your stick, and he gets a 2-minute penalty, and you get to go home praying that your 30-day warranty isn't up. It's really comforting, to say the least, knowing that the Colt can withstand a hell of a beating. Now let's move on to stick handling performance. Because it was so bottom heavy, doing quick stick handles was a little bit more of an effort and not as fast. Now, quick stick handles are not something I use too often in games, so I wasn't too worried about it, although the difference wasn't really that immense. I think that people get too caught up in the weight of a stick when judging whether it's a quality stick or not. I mean, I worked at Sport Check for about 2 years, and people would literally just pick up sticks, feel the weight of the stick, and say, oh, that's pretty sweet, or the opposite of it. So it's a big mistake because the overall feel of the stick is actually the biggest factor. I was worried that the Colt would lack the good feel to it given that the Nanovate coating was added. But I was pleasantly surprised when I headed out there for the first time and started to stick handle. I didn't notice myself having to make any major adjustments when picking up this stick, but then again, I'm used to using both heavier and lighter sticks, as my set of off-ice sticks are actually pretty bottom heavy given that I use fiberglass/wood replacement blades. Alright, now let's move on to one-timers. Now, this was definitely the most fun because I don't remember the last time I wailed away at a bunch of one-timers without worrying about the stick breaking. I don't have the hardest slap shot in the world, but I was noticing some serious power coming off of them. It's hard to compare though because with my other sticks I'd always let up a little bit for fear of breaking them, so it's a little bit tough to compare, but definitely did like the feel on these clap bombs. And next up, probably my favorite drill to do, the scattered puck drill, which relies on quick hands. And I found with the bottom heavy nature of this stick, my quick handles were a little bit slower, but the feel was amazing. Quick touches on the blade were very responsive, giving me lots of feedback to dangle around those pucks, and I felt like I performed pretty well with this stick compared to my other high-end sticks. So if you're deciding whether or not the Colt is good for you, ask yourself, what is your skill level? What is your role on the team? Do you take lots of slap shots? Do you do lots of stick handling? What position do you play? And lastly, is durability an issue for you? The way I see it, the Colt isn't for everyone. If I had the option of being sponsored by one hockey stick company in the world, it wouldn't be Colt. However, for those of us who aren't sponsored, we know that hockey is a pretty expensive sport. That being said, I would much rather pay for a quality, durable stick that is going to last me far longer than for a stick that's a little bit better but lasts half as long. I would also pay this price so that I wouldn't be afraid to get involved in corner stick battles, and to take one-timers in practice. Growing up, we rarely practiced one-timers because we're all afraid of breaking our sticks, and if there's a stick out there that can allow kids to practice their one-timers without their parents cringing, I think that is a big plus to the game of hockey and overall skill development of our young hockey players. In terms of elite hockey players, I see practical use for the Colt as a designated off-ice stick for these elite players who want to work on their shots as well as stick handling and passing. If I'm a defenseman, I want to be strong and confident with my stick, and I see the Colt providing that. So in closing, the Colt is not unbreakable. Do not take it out of the box and find the nearest crossbar to test this out. It will break. Believe me, I've tried it.
Broken?
The Colt is meant to withstand 2 to 3 times the impact force of high-end composites without sacrificing quality of performance. Now, the main point is to prevent in-game micro-fracturing of the bare composite substrate, which inevitably leads to shaft failure, which means less pop and total breakage. If you want to learn more about the Nanovate technology, head on over to www.integrin.com. I'll have a link in the description for you guys. Now, if you're wondering about the warranty of these sticks, we know that with standard high-end composite sticks, the warranty is 30 days, but Colt is so confident in the durability of their twigs that their warranty is 60 days. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about the Colt. I'm going to be testing out the Colt Generation 2 hockey sticks. They have a Colt Gen 2 and a Colt Gen 2 Raw, which I'll be using for the next few months, and I'll have my thoughts and a full review on that stick for you guys later. See ya! Hey, you guys have warranties on your stick? I took a wrist shot. Just exploded.